Despite economic and financial uncertainties, WHA remains robust with a strong fundamental at a favorable price. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we place a buy recommendation on WHA stock with a target price of 4.5 baht at 31% upside potential. WHA is one of the leading industrial estate developers in Thailand. There are 4 business units, which are: first, industrial estate, where the company sells industrial land; second, logistics, in which there are factories and warehouses; third, utilities and power, that are power and water provided to industrial estate customers; and lastly, digital platform, aiming to support all activities of the company. Currently, WHA's revenue are well diversified in terms of both revenue breakdown and revenue proportion, and this helps stabilize performance of the company. Moreover, WHA is the top industrial estate player compared to its peers. With a vertically integrated supply chain and a build-to-suit expertise, WHA can capture many well-known customers across the industries, indicating a leadership position. Ladies and gentlemen, these are 3 main reasons why WHA deserves buy recommendation. WHA, winning growth story, high financial flexibility, and attractive affirmative valuation.
Moving on to the first reason, WHA has a winning growth story. There are 2 major trends that are able to enhance WHA future growth. Firstly, Eastern Economic Corridor or EEC, which can positively impact the industrial estate business. Secondly, the expansion of e-commerce, which will fuel the growth of logistics segment. Let's see how WHA can ride on this global manufacturing wave. With higher cost of manufacturing and additional catalyst from trade war, this has sped up the movement of global manufacturing to emerging markets. As Thai government initiated EEC project with attractive tax incentive and mega infrastructure project, this resulted in 30% CAGR in foreign direct investment. With the highest number of land available in EEC and dominant position with the highest market share at 50%, this ensuring that the WHA would get the most benefit from EEC project. Next, the market value of e-commerce is forecasted to grow at 9% CAGR in Thailand. An expansion of e-commerce will substantially increase the logistic activity. As a leader in build-to-suit concept with advanced technology, the WHA is able to capture most of e-commerce giants comparing to its peers. The company can capture several high-value projects, indicating that the WHA is the leading logistic provider for e-commerce sector. With rising opportunities, the question remains: how could WHA finance its winning growth story?
And here is the answer. WHA has high financial flexibility to first, cash from asset monetization, and second, debt financing. Firstly, let's discuss about asset monetization. For the last 5 years, asset monetization to WHART is highly significant to the WHA Group, roughly over 31% of the total revenue, and management team also target to sell with asset at 150,000 square meters every year. So the question for investor may be, is it achievable? How long can the WHA monetize asset to reach? To answer this question, we see that the WHA has ample asset bank at 700,000 square meters, and 70% of them are built-to-suit warehouse and factory, which mostly be occupied due to high switching costs and long contract life. While the asset under the WHART has performed well over time at 90% occupancy rate on average. With this reason, we believe that WHA can monetize asset to WHART in short to medium term. Moving to the debt financing, we see that WHA has the largest available debt room at 45 billion baht, with an excellent credit rating of A- from TRIS. This indicates strong ability for debt financing. We have seen that WHA is a good stock. But the question is it the right time to buy it today?
Next, we arrive at attractive affirmative valuations. We derive a one-year target price of 4.5 baht per share. Since different businesses possess different financial and operating profiles, we utilize sum of the part valuations to truly reflect the value of each business. So, let's begin with industrial estate business contributing 0.6 baht to target price. As land sales are literally volatile by nature, we employ PE multiple to best reflect non-recurring income from land sales. For the peers, we identify based on strategic focus on land sales, covering a Southeast Asian market and low numerical discrepancies on accounting basis. For logistic business, it contributes 1.7 baht to target price, as main revenue contributions come from asset monetizations, accounting for 80% of total revenue from logistic business. Therefore, we utilize PE multiple to best reflect ongoing asset monetizations in short to medium terms. We value utility business by two-stage, 5-year discounted cash flow valuations, contributing 0.6 baht to target price. We come to power business, which deliver 1.1 baht. We utilize dividend discounted models to best reflect recurring equity income from joint venture power projects. Finally, our football fee analysis confirms our buy recommendations at a target price 4.5 baht per share, reinforced by market multiple and DCF approach. Concerning relative valuations, WHA is fairly priced compared to its peers with the highest ROE over the industry. Moreover, WHA is now underpriced compared to its historical average price to earning ratio. Altogether, reaffirms this is the right time to buy WHA.
The high economic concern is, let's see if there's a downside potential. We identify key risks based on the likelihood and also the impact of the risk. The two most important risk factors are lower than expected land transfers and asset monetization. To address them, we identified risk drivers and mitigating factors. For land transfer, the potential delay in EAC projects, strengthening of the Thai baht, and global economic slowdown may cause lower than expected land transfer. WHA can mitigate by leveraging on its strong relationship with customers. Even in the worst case scenario, where there is no land transfers at all, our model still suggests a hold recommendation. For asset monetization, there may be insufficient amount of assets or low quality assets. WHA can find new customers or place them into existing assets. Again, even in the worst case scenario where there is no asset monetization at all, our model still suggests a hold recommendation. Finally, our sensitivity analysis on both asset monetization and land transfer mostly yields a buy recommendation on WHA, indicating that there is a limited amount of downside risk.
By having a winning growth story, high financial flexibility, and attractive affirmative valuation, now it's time to grab the right opportunity at the right time and grow with WHA. Thank you.
Can I go first? Okay. So on your slide regarding the competitive landscape, okay, So it's pretty obvious to us that there are two leading players in Thailand, BBA and Amata. So can you compare the two and then let us know what aspect of the business that you like and dislike, and why you prefer WHA obviously?
So for both companies, WHA and Mata, both companies have full services as a one-stop service. And however, the differences are that for WHA, the company is trying to focus more on all of its business units to capture the upcoming trend. For example, e-commerce. As right now, WHA can capture e-commerce giant, while for Amata, it's focusing more on the township. For example, it provides hospital and school to people in the industrial estate. And moreover, WHA also developed build-to-suit concept in which Amata focus more on ready-built concept. And this is also reflected in high ROE of WHA.
The question that you ask is it achievable? The question that I ask that's, I think, more significant is it known? In other words, what, out of all the different things that you've presented, the market knows so much of this. The question is, from the research that you've done, what is something that you see that the market doesn't see?
Firstly, we see that we deeply analyze in both demands and supply of the asset monetizations, and we see that WHA can monetize asset to WHART in short to medium term, backed by three numbers. First is the asset bank of WHA that 70% are built to suit, and which this 70% is mostly be occupied due to its higher switching costs and longer contract life. Second number is the occupancy rate of asset under WHART that relatively high, reflected by the price pool and AV that.
Sorry, just to ask about that. It's good presentation, but my question is, does the market know that, or what about that you see that the market doesn't know, that makes you positive?
So in our view, we analyze this asset in terms of the quality better than the market, and we are more certain in our model that they will be able to achieve the targeted amount of asset monetization within the short to medium term. So that is what our paper is different compared to the market.
Hey, since you're very confident on your model, this is a question for that. So obviously this is an EEC play, right? No matter how you spin it, this is an EEC play, right? Majority of valuation come from that. So do you have an analysis on the probability of success for EEC, and how do you incorporate that into your valuation and target price?
Okay, so our group believes that EEC will be successful in the future due to three reasons. Firstly, EEC is a key driver that can leverage our country to be competitive in the region. Secondly, we saw a big progress at 2 of 5 mega projects had already been signed, and the rest of the is expected to be signed within the second quarter of this year. And thirdly, many private giant sectors such as PTT and General Group have already decided to invest with the government, increasing confidence that EEC will be successful in the future.
But what if it's not? What would be the impact? Let's say it's probably not going to be a total flop, but it's probably going to be faced with additional delays. And do you have an analysis whether this project has been get delayed 2 years further down the road, 3 years further down the road? What would be the impact to your valuation?
So the impact to valuation, in our view, will result into a lower than expected amount of land transfer. So in our growth and our model is actually implied within the EPE multiple. So here we can see that even when we go down one standard deviation of our base case, it still yields about 4.06 baht. So the last time we actually had the for WHA has like 90 hectares of land transfer. It was since 2003, and so even though it might be delayed, the project might be delayed for 2 or 3 years, we still see strong fundamentals from other businesses as well.
Okay, so could you elaborate more? What would be the, let's say, significance of the 2E in your model? One is an e-commerce success possibility. One is an EEC that you mentioned in this slide. Basically, how you assess that to translate that to the success of the asset monetization.
So just to repeat the question, how does the two events truly impact our sensitivity analysis here, correct? Like what is the impact? So
Yes.
for our base case, we assume the success of EUC and higher growth in the future in terms of land transfer, and it's implied within our base case number of land transfer. Also in terms of asset monetization, for e-commerce, the success of e-commerce, capturing e-commerce players will result into more amount of assets for WHA to monetize in the future. So it is implied also in our PE valuation of asset monetization in the logistics business.
You have a slide on FDI. What makes you confident that the level will continue to be strong?
So in our analysis, we see that Thailand is still competitive compared to other Southeast Asian countries, and due to three reasons. So firstly, the higher labor costs and land costs in China, and the trend to move to emerging markets. Secondly, the EUC project, which provides tax incentive to investors and infrastructures.
I like the slide where you break it down into the W part, H part, and A part, but I particularly like the H part. So let's talk about that. So you assume that there will be an asset injection into the REIT fund in the future. May I ask, what is the assumption on the yield that you assume that these assets will be sold into the fund? Basically, I'm asking about the funding cost.
The funding cost of selling an asset to REIT is about 9 to 10% based on the quality of the asset, whether it's freehold or leasehold, or the location as well. It also impact the rental rate, which has impact the IRR of the fund. Our weighted average cost of selling asset to REIT is about 9.3%.
When you talk about logistics, when I think about logistics, actually, I think about, let's take companies that are standard companies in Thailand that have logistics operations. I think when you're talking about logistics, can you explain to me what is different between the logistics you're talking about? Is it about e-commerce logistics, and how much is that dependent on Alibaba, as an example, or others coming in?
So for to elaborate more our logistics, we provide a warehouse and factory for the manufacturing companies. And now for the e-commerce or Alibaba, we provide a distribution center for them.
And what I'm trying to get at is what's different. 10 years ago we used to call those industrial estates. Now you're calling them kind of e-commerce or logistics. Is there something different? Is there some specialty that the company has, for instance, in software or something like that, or is it just that it's been renamed as something else?
So the difference is in terms of the build-to-suit concept, where WHA is able to provide whatever the customers specifically demand for their warehouses. So they will modify it and make it to the specifics that the customers want.
10 years ago, that was a difference that they said. Is there any other difference?
They're also implementing newer technologies into these warehouses to make them more cost efficient for the end consumers, and that's why end consumers keep coming back to WHA.
to answer about the Alibaba deals, we see that WHA.
Thank you.